Good morning once again, Bonduers. My name is Joanna Chong, and I'm the Academic Development Director of Bondue, and I will also be your MC for today. Okay, so if you didn't catch it earlier on, there is a true and false segment that is going on our Instagram stories. So if you haven't already went, head over there right now, either by scanning the QR code or by going to Instagram and going to at SMU Bondue to participate in the true and false questions. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask us, please feel free to ask them on the Instagram platform as well because it is all there. Okay, majority of everyone is in, so let's get started for today. So I just want to say to remember to pay close attention to this session as we will be having a giveaway at the end of the webinar. All right, and now without a further ado, let us invite the president of the 60th Bondue Executive Committee to give his welcoming address. Brian, please.
Right. Hello, freshmen. I hope that all of you are having a great morning thus far. I'm Brian, the president of Bondue 16 Executive Committee, and our host earlier today was Johannes. If you didn't realize, is Johannes, our academic development director for Bondue. So to kick things off for today, I'll actually be touching on three different topics as I bring you this welcome address. The first would be about the LKCSB office. The second would be about LKCSB academic clubs, and lastly, I'll be talking about Bondue itself. So Bondue also stands for SMU Business Society if you do not already know. So to kick things off, let's look at the management team of the LKCSB office. So what you can see at the center is actually the Dean of Lee Kuan Yew School of Business, Dean Gerald George, and he's actually assisted by two deputy deans, firstly Professor Shantanu as well as Professor Melvin. So we also have three associate deans in the LKCSB office, where both Professor Benedict as well as Professor Roy is in charge of the postgraduate programs, and Professor Michelle is actually in charge of the undergraduate programs, which is for you and me, for people like you and me. So I believe that most of you might have already met Professor Ma, as Professor Ma was actually coordinating all of our admission activities. So I'm pretty sure that she's a familiar face to all of you. And lastly, we also have Professor Karen Gunn, who actually provides academic advice to students when it comes to what majors to take and the career options for each different major that we have. So next, I'll be actually touching on the LKCSB Academic Briefing microsite. So the academic briefing is actually an annual event that is held in school, but in light of the current situation this year, it had to be moved online. So this microsite was actually made available to you on the 20th of July. So I'm pretty sure that most of you all would have received it in your emails earlier today, or earlier on the 20th. So if you have not already visited it, do refer to it because it contains introductory videos by different professors to get you started on your university journey here in SMU. So now I'll be touching a bit more about the LKCSB student clubs. So for the LKCSB student clubs, we actually have 10 different student clubs made available here in SMU. And you can actually find out more about them during Vivace, which will be happening on the 13th and 14th of August. So to dive deeper into it, let's talk about Communications Management Society. So as the name implies, it is catered to students who are interested to know more about the communications industry, where you have the opportunity to partake in industry visits to its partners, gaining valuable insights. Next, we actually have Cognitare. So Cognitare actually brings you deeper into the strategy and consultancy route, where it trains its members to tackle business case problems faced by MNCs such as Nike and Carlsberg. And lastly, we have iInvestment on this page. So iInvestment is actually SMU's largest finance club in SMU, where they have an extensive community to facilitate the exchange of knowledge between industry professionals as well as students. And they also do conduct training sessions every Friday. Next, I'll be talking about Maritime Merchants Club. So the Maritime Merchant Club is actually catered to students with a keen interest in the maritime industry and commodities trading, such as iron ore or the raw material in general. So this is actually the first of its kind in SMU, so do check it out if you have a keen interest in it. Next, we actually have the OBHR Society, which actually serves the interests of those who is interested in the human resource track or the sector, where they aim to create a network for people, of people, for people. And lastly, we have the Operations Management Society, which is actually the go-to platform for those who is interested in the operations management, where the club will actually organize networking sessions as well as industry visits for its members. Next, we have Quantitative Finance Society, or in short, QED. So it's actually a very close-knit club for those interested in quantitative finance, where you actually be exposed to things such as financial research and backtesting of data. Next, we also have SMU Marketing Society, and as the name implies in itself, is actually for those who have an interest in getting to know more about the marketing industry, where they hold networking and mentorship sessions to give its members a better idea about the industry. Our last two clubs is SMU Real and SMU Smith. So for SMU Real, it's actually catered for students who would actually like to know more about the real estate investments as well as the industries in general. And lastly, we have SMU Smith. So SMU Smith is actually an investment club that prepares its members to perform in-depth financial analysis and tackle stock pitch competitions both locally and globally. So as such, these are the 10 student clubs under the LKCSB office, and you can actually really find out more about them on the 13th and 14th of August. And with that, let me dive right in to tell you a bit more about what Bondue is, or otherwise known as SMU Business Society. So, Bondue is actually the student representative of the Lee Kuan Yew School of Business, and it was actually founded in 2005. We are actually the largest student body among the 6 faculties in SMU, and our key stakeholders include the likes of current students like you and me, alumni, distinguished staff from the LKCSB office, as well as corporate partners. So this year actually marks the 16th batch of executive committee members for Bondue, as shown on the slides. So the term Bondue actually came about when our founders were actually having a bonding session, and that was when an idea prompted one of them with a question: what if we name our business society Bondue, which stands for Bond with You? Thus, that was actually how Bondue got its name, and over the years, the Bondue spirit is what kept the school body so closely knitted. As we like to say here in SMU, one Bondue, one family. Right. So what we actually have here is our vision and mission. So the vision of Bondue is actually to cultivate a dynamic and fulfilling university experience for SMU business students. And the mission that we have here in Bondue is to unify SMU business students while serving their welfare, social, academic, and professional interests. And to touch a bit more into the 4 pillars of Bondue, the first pillar that we have is welfare, as mentioned. So under welfare, we have things such as welfare drives, which will be happening during the semester, welfare study spaces, which normally takes place during study week itself, and friendship week, where we show gratitude to our friends. Next, the second pillar that we have is actually social. For most of you have attended Bondue freshman experience, or otherwise you have attended SPERANZA itself. If not, the upcoming event would be Slightly Scarlet, as well as Bondue's anniversary. The third pillar that we have is the academic pillar, which is the No Die Major sessions, as well as the Bondue Freshman Guide. And lastly, we have the professional pillar, which consists of 2 different events. Firstly, the Alumni Networking Night, as well as the Bondue Business Forum. Right. So what you're actually looking at right now is the Bondue logo that was with us ever since Bondue started out in 2005. Over the past 16 years, Bondue has actually made significant growth in various aspects, with many years of rich history and a multitude of experiences. So with Lee Kuan Yew School of Business celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, we actually took this chance to embark on our very own milestone event of rebranding where we are looking at creating a new and fresh look for Bondue. So this new logo of ours embodies a way of respecting the past and attributes that resonates with the Bondue community while still looking ahead. So it actually exemplifies the careful balance between legacy and innovation by maintaining the core integrity of Bondue while giving it a fresher and neater look. So if you would like to read more into our logo rebranding, you can actually always visit us on our SMU Bondue website to know more about it. And with that, I've actually come to the end of my welcome speech. Let me now hand the time back to Johannes to bring you through the rest of the segment.
The true and false segment. So I hope you guys have been participating in the true and false questions on Instagram, because now is the time to see how well you actually know SMU. So if you guys haven't already headed over to answer the questions, feel free to head over right now, go to SMU Bondue. You guys can scan the QR code if you haven't already, get to the page and start your true and false questions. Okay, but without further ado, let's get this started. So the first question is, for the true and false, is I can join more than one CCA in SMU. Okay, and the percentage of you guys, okay, this is quite a large percentage. 97% of you said true. But the answer is indeed 100% true, because you can join more than one CCA in SMU, whichever ones interest you. So if you guys didn't already know, Vivace is coming up. So do also consider what are the various commitments for the various CCAs that you would like to join before choosing to join them. So if you are like me and you love to talk, you guys can join my other CCA, which is actually SMU Broadcast and Entertainment, where I am an MC for the club. And you would find out that there are so many different CCAs here in SMU. So remember to head down for Vivace. It is online to find out what are the different CCAs there are and find the one that resonates with you the most. Okay, but on to question 2. Question 2, I must clear all my university and business core modules by year 1 and year 2. So in other words, it is I must clear all my university and business core by year 2. And okay, this is slightly less, but still a vast majority. 83% of you guys have answered false. And the answer is false. Okay, you do not need to clear all your core modules in year 1 and year 2. However, do note that some of these core modules are prerequisites to other mods that you will take, such as mods in your major. So for example, if you want to pursue a major in operations management, you would need to clear both decision analysis and operations management modules as the prerequisite before you head over to the major. So it is very important that you plan your map your modules carefully to make sure that you are qualified to take the mods for both your uni core, business core, as well as your business major modules. Okay, but on to the next question. Question number 3. If I declare a double major, my second major must be from the Lee Kong Chian School of Business. If I declare a double major, my second major must be from the Lee Kong Chian School of Business. Okay, and you guys, as you can see from the true and false, are very, very clever because 93% of you guys said that the answer is indeed false. And it is false because if you declare a double major, only your primary major needs to be from LKCSB. Your second major, as what our dean has said, can be cross-faculty. So do feel free to explore options such as having a first major in, let's say, finance and exploring a second major in other faculties such as the IS faculty, or combining marketing as the primary major with the social sciences faculty, just as our dean has mentioned earlier. So on to question 4. Okay, this is our second last question. You guys have been doing a fantastic job. You guys know the school very, very well. So this one is a dead giveaway if you were paying attention. But there will not be any welfare drives in the upcoming semester with most classes going online. So will we have a welfare drive? Okay, 84% of you have answered false, and you guys are absolutely correct because we will be having a welfare drive despite the COVID situation, despite classes being online. So be sure to check out our socials, mainly Instagram and Telegram at SMU Bondue for more updates on our welfare. So don't miss it out because you still have a welfare to look out for. And lastly but not least, we have question number 5. It is compulsory to undertake a 6 months internship in SMU. Okay, and I would just like to highlight that this question, the key word is 6 months internship. So if you guys had been tricked by the question, right now I'm about to reveal the answer because 51% of you guys said true and 49% said false. So this is probably because you guys got tricked by the question. But the answer is indeed false. Why? Okay, so for all of you guys wondering, but SMU needs to take an internship, you are absolutely correct because it is compulsory for you to clear an internship as part of your curriculum in SMU. However, it need not be a 6 months long duration for the internship. It is perfectly fine for you guys to take a 3 months internship or a 6 months internship. However, it is important to note that if you want to clear a 6 months internship, you will be required to take a leave of absence or an LOA from one of your semesters while schooling to pursue that internship. Whereas if you would just like to clear a 3 months internship or shorter, you can simply do so in the summer break because our summer breaks are really very long, as you guys will find out in the coming year. And lastly, for the polytechnic students who are wondering, but I've taken an internship before in poly. Is it possible to carry over that internship to be exempted for SMU? However, as of 2019's intake onwards, you are no longer able to exempt that internship, even if you have taken an internship in poly before. So do note, it is compulsory for every single student to take a new internship in SMU, but it need not be a 6 month internship. CCAs are not compulsory in SMU. CCAs are not compulsory in SMU. So let's just give a little bit more time if you guys are still answering the question so I do not spoil the answer for you. And in just a moment, we will be telling you the answers for the first question. All right, so I am looking at the updated live stats that are coming in right now, and we have 92% of the student population that says this is true. And the answer is indeed true, because CCAs are not compulsory for SMU students, but CCAs play a huge part in your school life and your social life, which is a big part of SMU's student body's life, your community. So you guys should be looking out for which CCAs you guys want to join to enhance your student life here in SMU. So do look out for SMU Vivace, SMU's annual CCA fair that will be happening on 13th and 14th of August. And do not worry, because it will be porting online. So I'm sure many of you guys have already heard when Vivace is going to be happening, be it from SPERANZA or be it from FOMO that has already advertised it. So you guys can look out for that and see which CCAs you would be interested in and joining. So speaking of CCAs, I'm actually from Broadcast and Entertainment, a CCA that allows me to be a campus MC or a campus host. So it is something like my bread and butter, because I am part of the CCA and we do have trainings for that. So if it is what interests you, go ahead and sign up. And you guys do not need to be limited, because SMU has so many CCAs to offer. So you guys can just go ahead and join whichever one that interests you. And on to the next question. For the next question, I have to go for an overseas exchange in order to fulfill my global exposure requirement. I have to go for an overseas exchange in order to fulfill my global exposure requirements. So right now I am looking at the IG live stats, and this one is pretty close, I would say, because we have a 39% that says true and 61% that says false. So I am happy to say, but the majority that stated is correct, because it is false. Students can participate in any SMU organized overseas activities to clear your global exposure. It need not be an overseas exchange, because as long as you participate in summer programs or the overseas community service projects, OCSPs, study missions, overseas exchange, or overseas internships, any one of these actually qualify for an overseas global exposure. So any of these can qualify and fulfill the global exposure requirement. So you need not go for an overseas exchange. If you like, you can also go for a local exchange, because that is up to you and whether you want to explore that option as well. So SMU is committed to giving global exposure participation as an extra push to all students. And you guys can find out more at admissions.smu.sg/global exposure. Or if you guys want to know, you guys can simply go online to Google and key in for admissions.smu.sg and find the tab that says global exposure, and you guys can find out all about it. Okay, but that's not what we have for you today, because we have the true and false segment. So for question three, we have all SMU students are covered by insurance. And looking right now, we have 89% of you that says true. And it is true, because SMU insurance coverage includes clinical outpatients, specialist outpatient, hospital and surgical, as well as a personal accident. And if you guys didn't know, there's also a whole bunch of clinics that you guys can attend for free, because it is covered by SMU's insurance. So not only will it cover your hospitalization, but it also does cover your own medical expenses at selected clinics. So if you guys want to find out more, you can simply go online and check the students' insurance coverage online, and you can find out which of the clinics in your neighborhood are actually free for SMU students for you guys to attend. all you need to do is to simply do the registration and download the application to show the clinic that you are from SMU and you can get your medical expenses paid for. So, but there is a limit, and you guys can find out all about it online and where you guys can find the nearest clinic in your neighborhood to see whether they will be free for you or not. Yes. So right now, we are moving on to question number 4. So question number 4 is you must sign up to be part of SMU Business Society or Bondue. So do you need to sign up to be part of Bondue? So this is rather interesting because in our second last question, we have a mixed view because 43% of you say false, but 57% of you say true. So it does show that even though it is close, the majority does think that you have to sign up to be part of SMU Business Society or Bondue. However, it is indeed false. So the 43% of you guys are correct because you do not need to sign up. As long as you are a business student, you are automatically a part of Bondue. Alternatively, you can sign up to be part of our organizing committee that runs our signature events such as Bondue Camp, Slightly Scarlet, Alumni Networking Night, and the Bondue Business Forum. And you do not only need to sign up as an organizing committee member, you can also just simply sign up as a participant. So you guys can look out for our events that will be happening for the rest of the year. And you do not need to sign up for them to be a part of Bondue because we are all Bonduers. So on to our last and final question of the true and false segment, we have I am only able to purchase SMU business merchandise during Bondue events such as welfares and Bondue Camp. So 26% of you have said true and 74% of you have said false. And the answer is indeed false because all Bondue merchandise such as our t-shirts and windbreakers are available throughout the semester. And we'll be sharing more about how you can get them in just a bit. So if you guys want to know, we actually have launched our brand new set of merchandise with the rebranding. So you guys can stay tuned to find out what and how you can purchase your very own SMU Bondue merchandise. So right now we have come to the end of the true and false segment, but if you still have questions, there is actually a wonderful resource that can just answer them because it is none other than the Bondue Freshman Guide prepared by your very own seniors in Bondue. So to head over to the guide, you simply need to key in www.freshman.smubondue.com and you can access the guide. So what is in the guide and why should I check out the Freshman Guide? It is basically packed with information for all your schooling needs, from the My Bondue Life series, where students and seniors answer questions about topics like school life, as well as time management and bidding and studying tips and whatnot, because it is really, really interesting. My personal favorite is My Bondue Life series on the guide because it is very interactive and you can find out from your seniors how they deal with school life. But not only that, we also have things like studying sports in SMU, as well as the printing services and where do you need to go and how much does it cost? How do you do the printing? And I know this may not be so relevant because we are not allowed to be on physical campus at this point of time, but you guys can take a look and explore and do a little research before actually heading down to the actual campus to know more about the school. There's no harm in doing a little research, right? And we also have things like the interactive food maps. So we have a food map for both on campus as well as around school. So if you guys are wondering what is there to eat, you guys can also head over to the interactive food map and find out all the different food choices as well as drink choices that are around school. So a fun fact, there is bubble tea already in the school. There's Gongcha in LKCSB, and there is also R&B at SOE. Yeah. So that's all for the freshman guide. But if you guys want to find out, there's many, many more things online and you guys can find it. Just head over to www.freshman.smubondue.com to see the guide. So let's get to it. The first question, okay, not yet. Okay, first question in 3, 2, 1. Okay, true or false? The Lee Kong Chian School of Business Academic Briefing microsite is open to all students in SMU. True or false? Okay, almost all of you have answered. That's very, very quick. 220 answers in the first 10 seconds. So you only have about 5 more seconds. I hope you guys don't miss it. Just answer taking a guess is better than not answering. And we have only 40 of you who have gotten this correct. Okay, so that's very interesting. 200 of you guys think that everyone can access the microsite. However, as the 40 right of you guys have said, it is not open to all students in SMU. It is specifically for the LKCSB freshmen to join the academic briefing microsite. So it is an exclusive microsite just for you guys, just for the School of Business freshmen. Okay, but fret not, this is only the first question. It doesn't really matter if you get it right or wrong because you still have a chance. Let's take a look at our current leaderboard. Okay, so we have Fong Jolie, we have Benjamin, Nathaniel, Suti, as well as Sandy. Okay, I think it's Sandy. All right. So you guys currently are in the lead. You are in our top 5. Wishing all of you the best, not only to our top 5, but everyone else. But on to question 2. In which country did the dean complete his undergraduate studies at? So I hope you guys were paying attention to our YouTube live video because the dean did share where he completed his undergraduate studies. So I hope you guys are excited for that. So let's see what you have answered. Okay, 221, that's almost everyone who has answered the question. Okay, time is up. And we have 131 of you who have guessed correctly. Our dean, Professor Jerry George, did indeed complete his undergraduate studies at India. Okay, so we have quite a bunch of you who got it wrong, but let's look at the leaderboard. Okay, so Jolie, Benjamin, and Nathaniel are doing very well. They are still leading in the top 3. And we also have 2 new names, Grace as well as Kai, or Yap Kai, okay, that are in the leaderboard. So let's get to the next question and see if they can retain their top 3 position. How many Lee Kong Chen School of Business student clubs are there? So earlier on, if you were listening to our president, Brian, during his welcoming address, you would have known how many student clubs there are. So is it 9, 10, 11, or 12? Okay, we have 5 seconds left. If you haven't answered, just quickly, just choose one. It is okay. Guessing is better because you still have a 25% chance. And 72 of you have gotten it correct. So this is quite evenly placed. I'm sure as you guys can see from the screen that most of you actually do not know how many student clubs there are from LKCSB. So the answer is indeed 10. Let's take a look at our leaderboard. We are halfway through, and right now, Nathaniel and Grace are doing very well at the top 2 positions. Suti has still come back to the leaderboard. Unfortunately, for the rest of you, you may have lost your position, but if you are still on a 3-question win streak, then you still have a very good chance. Okay, so on to the next question, on to question number 4. You guys can still win. It is not too late. When was Bondue founded? Okay, so this is a little bit tricky. Remember to count your years accurately because it may not, your math may not be correct. So we hope you guys know this and do not make a mistake in your mathematics. That is the hint that I am giving you guys. Do not rush it, okay? And 100 of you, which is the majority, have guessed correctly or answered correctly. It is indeed 2005 when Bondue was founded, okay? But let's take a look at our leaderboard. Okay, Suchi has made an amazing comeback. She is currently leading, and we have the rest of you on the leaderboard as well. With 2 remaining questions, your chances are indeed very high. So I hope you guys can can win our merchandise. Okay, on to the second last question. Which floor is the dean's office on? Which floor is the dean's office on? Yes, the answers are coming in very, very quickly. I'm sure you've paid very close attention to our video from about the dean. But is it the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th? We've hit the 5-second mark and not everyone has answered. Okay, there's still about 30 of you. Just key in your answers before it's too late. Okay, and 144 of you have guessed correctly. It is indeed the 5th floor. So let's take a look at our leaderboard one last time before the final question. Okay, the top 3 have remained, and there are another 2 that are catching up fast. Okay, so speed will be key in seeing who will walk away with our top 3 prizes. Okay, so right now we are going to the last and final question. What are the 4 pillars of Bondue? So this is the last and final question. I wish you guys all the best. I see the answers coming in. I hope you guys know this and were paying attention just now during Brian's welcoming address, because that is where you can find the answer. All right, okay, majority of you have already answered. There's 195 of you going to 200, and we have 141 of you who have answered the question correctly. It is indeed welfare, social, academic, and professional pillars. Okay, so right now we are looking at the questions that are submitted from Instagram.
All right. So right now we'll answer some of the questions that y'all have sent in through Instagram. So firstly, I'll just like to introduce myself. I'm Kenneth, the Honorary Financial Secretary of the Bondue 16 Exco. So just to kickstart with the first question, what is the recommended number of mods that should be taken per sem? So for this question, actually on average, most students take an average of 4 to 5 modules per semester. But however, do take note to map your modules properly so they can graduate in due time. So for the next question, will class part and group projects weightage be reduced? So for the specific class participation and group project weightages, they actually vary per module, and this can be found in the course outline through BOSS. So y'all can actually access BOSS right now to actually see the modules that you're gonna take and want to take, and then y'all can actually look at the course outline and determine whether it's the module for you. Next, will there be any pass-fail this semester just like last semester? To our knowledge right now, all modules will be graded as per normal this semester. So now I'll pass my time on to Pauline.
Hi guys, I'm Pauline, the Human Resources Director. So now I'll be covering some internships related questions that you guys actually sent in to us. So one of it is actually, what are some companies that we can actually do internship with? So depending on your year and what the company is actually looking for, the possibilities are endless. So I guess the question isn't entirely what encompasses, but how do I go about finding an internship? So that depends on what skills you wish to take away, as well as the fit within the culture of the organization. Next up, will multiple internships be reflected on our transcript? Yes, you can apply for internships via OnTrack or source for internships by yourself. For self-source internship, you will need to declare on OnTrack, and the school will actually liaise with you on the documents that you are required to fill up. Following on, I'll pass my time over to Farid, who will be covering the next few questions.
So hi everyone, I'm Farid, the Corporate Relations Director of Bondue 16 Executive Committee. So some of you guys have asked questions regarding like global exposure and overseas exchange programs. With COVID-19 going on, will the global exposure requirement be changed? Some of you have asked. Currently, we have no updates on this matter. That will depend on both the school, SMU school office, as well as the overseas college, on whether they want it to be physical or online sort of exchange. But we do believe that the school will be making a decision on this according to how the COVID-19 situation evolves. Then for the next question, some of you guys have asked, where do I get the Bondue Freshman Guide? So for the Bondue Freshman Guide, you can get it at freshman.smubondue.com. I'll list down the link later inside the chat. So lastly, some of you guys have asked us like, what is Bondue Perks and how do you use it? Well, Bondue Perks is something that my team and I decided to come up with. That is something exclusive for SMU Business School students. And we wanted to create a community of both students plus businesses so that we'll be able to give these discounts over to our students. Secondly, it will be to support our SMU entrepreneurs, because there have been a number of budding entrepreneurs in SMU Business School recently. Lastly, it's to use the discount codes beyond the timing of the event. So for Bondue Perks, your discounts are actually lasting for the entire year. So how do you use them? You can actually visit our website, smubondue.com, to see how you can use the different perks that are available. And lastly, we also would like to appeal to you guys to actually suggest to us on any companies that you guys would like to receive discounts on. And last but not least, do enjoy the Bondue Perks. Thank you. I'll pass on the time to Joe now.
Okay, I believe Kenneth has something to mention as well before heading over to the end of the...
Okay, so just to carry on with some of the bidding questions, next it will be, how do we know which are our pre-assigned courses, block A or B? It is not on Oasis. Actually, you can actually check when your first bidding approaches next week. You can actually check what are your pre-assigned modules on BOSS. And if you're asking about for terms 3A and 3B, you will have to pay additional fees to take on modules. But for further information, you can find them on Oasis. And for incoming freshman classes, they'll be mostly held online, but to find out which classes specifically will be held online, you can actually access this file through BOSS. There'll be an Excel sheet where you actually see your overall timetable, and then you can actually find the information from there. Next, do we have to complete all business core modules before declaring a major? That is not a requirement. However, it will be recommended to do so before actually declaring your major, because the reason the business core modules are there is to actually give you a taste of what the major is all about, and to actually give you an idea of what you might want to do in the future. Next, should we start off with simpler mods or harder ones in the freshman bidding? So actually, there is no one way to plan your modules, and you're free to decide what combinations you want to take. Whether it is a combination of qualitative and quantitative, or project-based and exam-based modules, the possibilities are endless. So now I'll pass my time back to Joe because we're running out of time, but don't worry, if you have any other questions, you can always look for us around in school or through Telegram, and we will always be happy to answer any questions that you may have.